Well guys, I thought I would start my video here today. Just walking out to do my little video, and there we go. Newcastle 4, Man United 3. Back on September the 15th, 2001. Well listen, we saw our own 4-3 thriller here at St James's Park today. Let's go outside and have a chat about it. Well yeah, here we are back out in St James's Park at the corner where Harvey Barnes celebrated at the Gallowgate end with the Newcastle fans following that brilliant introduction and 2-goal salvo at the end. What an ending to what an afternoon at St James's Park. I turned round and said to the people who were sitting round next to me, at 3-1 down, you would take 3-3 in a heartbeat at the moment if you were a Newcastle fan, but to come back and win at 4-3 just says really everything about this group of players, and it says everything about Newcastle United right now. A crazy team to follow. The amount of goals they've scored, the amount of goals they've conceded. It feels like they almost give teams 2 goals to start with in any given game at the moment, and today was like just no different. I mean, to have gone 1 up so early on, you always felt they probably had scored too early the way they're playing. They just didn't deal, for me, with the injury to Jamal Lascelles. Eddie Howe said afterwards in the press conference he doesn't know yet, but it's a knee problem for him, ankle problem for Livramento, and I think a knee problem, I think he said, for Almiron as well. So another 3 injuries, ridiculous given the injury problems they've had this season. But he agreed afterwards that the team just did not adapt at all. He's reshuffled the whole back four. Look, I think in hindsight, it would have been a better option to have brought in Lewis Hall at left back, and then you're only really having to move one position, whereas bringing on Kraft at right back meant that all of the back four had to change position, and you could see that they just struggled to adapt with that. So look, I think that was a mistake from Eddie Howe at that stage doing that, I really do. However, what you can say is he has recognised that he's made the mistake, and he's brought on Lewis Hall, and he's substituted a substitute in Emil Kraft. And you have to give him huge credit for that, the fact that he recognised that early in the second half at 3-1, and of course Newcastle go on to win the game. So look, inspired substitution second time around. I think Hall's performance second half would suggest to me he's ready to play, particularly seeing a game like here at home where you're going to have lots of the ball, you're going to have lots of chances against, it doesn't have to be, maybe different if you're playing against Liverpool or Manchester City, but although he's not defensively sound, I think he fits perfectly into the way Newcastle play football just now in terms of the chances he creates, the way he gets forward. He'd look to me just like a different physical presence on the pitch than he has done in recent games, and I think that moving forward now, for me, he has to probably play between now and the end of the season and allow either Trippier or Livramento to play at right back. I just thought that he was really good when he came on, usurped slightly by Barnes, because I mean, look, what an ending for him. Second goal was outstanding. For a guy who's missed large chunks of the season, that must have felt amazing for him at the end, and I think he fully deserves it, because he's been through the mill this season with that injury. Essentially just stumped a toe, that's what he did, and yet he's missed a huge chunk of the season. I thought Anderson was very good when he came on. I thought really those 3 subs changed the game for Newcastle and allowed them to get over the line, and I personally think that would have been probably the season over with defeat today, because I don't know how you catch West Ham after that. But to come back, not just get a draw would have been okay, I think, at 3-1 down, but to come back and win that really should give them a shot in the arm for the run-in between now and the end of the season. Hopefully the injuries to those 3 players that came off aren't as bad as first feared, and they're back, maybe not for Everton, but at least if they're back for the next up-and-coming matches, Fulham, Chelsea, big games, not Chelsea, Fulham, Spurs coming up. But yeah, look, crazy. I mean, Harvey Barnes was brought on, I think the same minute or the minute after Calvin Phillips. I mean, what are you thinking if you're Calvin Phillips right now? Comes on with 3-1 up, knows that Newcastle were looking at him in January. Ironically, now looking at it, I would suggest that as much as Newcastle's recruitment has been bad this season, and it has been, look, Tonali, Barnes injury, Tonali suspension, Hall and Livramento not playing too much, it has been bad. I've gone on record to say it before. They've only started 17, now 18 games between the 4 of them all season, Premier League games. as much as it has been bad, the recruitment, and it hasn't worked out for the team, probably the best piece of business Newcastle did do or didn't do was deciding against signing Calvin Phillips in January, because he's been really poor since he signed for David Moyes' side. Looks an absolute shadow of the player he was at Leeds United, and look, that would have been a waste of money for Newcastle, another waste of money, because they've had a few of them this season with the suspensions and injuries and whatnot. But look, I think that just gave an idea and a little glimpse into what Harvey Barnes can be. I think if they can keep him fit, he'll be a real talent for Newcastle next season. Obviously with Tonali back, providing his ban isn't extended, Livramento with a season behind him, it looks like Lewis Hall is, as I say, ready. So I think these 4 guys can really make an impact now, and you know, the team's going to look a lot stronger for having them available, because essentially at stages this season it's been like the team of last season. It really has been, and you know, it's hard to go through a season without fresh blood, and that's what essentially Newcastle have been doing. More injury problems. I know I've touched on it already. Like, you couldn't make it up when Jamal Lascelles went off injured. You know what an opportunity it is for him to come in for the last 10 games with Sven Botman out, but looks as like it might be a nasty one. But it almost feels, you know, I was just speaking to a couple of my colleagues inside, it almost feels a little bit like everything that happened in that first hour is irrelevant. It's not, because obviously it all adds up to the bigger story, but it's almost irrelevant due to the finish to the game. And you know, as crazy as it is, as mental as it is, as mad it was being here today, it's great to witness football like that, and that's why we all love the game. That's why people pay to come to matches. That's why players get paid big money. That's why I do this job, because you love watching football matches like that. And you know, if someone said to me, you know, do you want another season like this with all these games, or do you want seasons next season when your team are trying to shut up shop and play for a 0-0, then I would say no, let's have more of this. And that's exactly, I know I've had a lot of people asking me in recent times, Jose Mourinho would be great here. Jose Mourinho would be playing for 1-0 wins all the time. Look at that swashbuckling stuff under Eddie Howe. Really exciting to watch. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's just a joy to watch, you know, and certainly for us reporters and neutrals watching it, it's great. I know it's not probably great for your guys' hearts and stuff like that, but look, it's what football's all about, really, isn't it? Other talking points, I missed Anthony Gordon sending off, so I didn't see it. So, but by all accounts, it was a stick-on second yellow, and obviously he's going to miss that game against Everton on Tuesday, which will be a huge blow. I don't know how they're going to patch a team together for that game, but look, they will. They've done it a number of times this season. They'll do it again, and I feel Newcastle should have the impetus now, but you just don't know. Every game's so different with Newcastle at the moment. It's so hard to predict. The only thing you can predict is it's going to be crazy, and that is certainly what happened again today. On Kraft's substitution, Howe said afterwards he was fine with it. He just felt we needed to get more attacking players on the pitch. Again, it was probably a bad move at the time, but look, credit to him for making the change when he did, and it's not easy to substitute a substitute, so fair play to him for, you know, having it in him, the wherewithal in it, to do that. I thought Isak was excellent today. I thought he really ran the line well. I can't believe he only scored 2 pens. Like he looked like he could have scored every time he touched the ball. I thought he looked sharp again. I think Willock's not quite at it yet. Obviously it'll come with him. I know Dan Burn looked like he was struggling with his confidence, but look, that must have meant a lot to him, Newcastle winning at the end, because at 3-1 down, he was probably blaming himself for some of that, playing central defence. So you'll be really relieved and, you know, buoyed by the fact that Newcastle have won it at the end with himself in the heart of the defence. But yeah, look, I think moving forward, you need to get Anderson in the team. You need to give Hall a run between now and the end of the season. And look, we see what happens with the injured players. Barnes, you would expect, will start against Everton on Tuesday night. So yeah, look, crazy old afternoon here, but pretty much sums up Newcastle's season, that, doesn't it? Absolutely sums it up. I think you were getting 16-1 on Newcastle to win at 3-1 down, so I don't know if any of you had that bet on, but hope you all have a great Easter weekend. It was fun to be here today, and I will speak to you guys ahead of Everton on Tuesday. Leave your thoughts and comments below, guys. Subscribe if you haven't done already, and I'll speak to you before Everton on Tuesday. Cheers now.